people refer to their Zwift setup as their pain cave. On my part, I actually like to look at it as shelter. Usually I'm riding Zwift when it's raining outside or maybe too cold. And what I've done over the years is upgraded my Zwift setup so that it's more enjoyable, more like the outdoors, and what's important to me is realism, so it really does feel real. Now, nothing I'm going to tell you about is necessary. These are all luxuries, I fully admit. But my feeling is if you're going to spend hundreds or thousands of hours, why not invest a little bit into making it a more pleasurable place for you to work out? A good place to start is with the trainer. You want to use a high quality trainer that Zwift can control. Now in my case, I used the Watt bike only because it was smaller than a conventional trainer where you insert your bike inside the trainer. Zwift recently came out with a new trainer of their own, which appears to be very high quality. But I would start with make sure you use a good trainer and one that's very comfortable for you when riding those long hours inside your house. I recommend using a high quality television instead of an iPad or an iPhone to play the Zwift. You want to mount it on the wall. You want it to be high resolution. 4K is a good standard. And you want it to be a high refresh rate, which is marked 120 megahertz. Why? The faster the refresh rate, the more realistic the graphics. And if you're going to be staring at this for a long time, you really want a high quality display. Now I have an OLED display, which isn't necessary, it's a luxury, but any television that's 4K 120 megahertz is a good display for Zwift. The computer you use on Zwift is really an important aspect of the game experience. Zwift does something really interesting. When it starts up, the first thing it does is it interrogates your computer and asks your computer a question. How much graphic capacity do you have? If you have a low quality graphics board in your computer, it will send a low quality game to your computer. And as you see on this display, you will only see the HD version if your computer can handle it. Now in my case, I'm using a Mac Mini with the new M1 processor, which is capable of the highest resolution, the HD level. But if your computer can't do that, you won't have that choice. And what does that mean? The graphics will be lower quality. It'll be less realistic. And in my case, when you see it, you actually can see the pebbles on the road, and that's because it's capable of that highest resolution. And I recommend using a computer that has a high performance graphics card, or to use something like a Mac Mini. I recently added a really cool new device. Actually, it was a gift from my kids. It's the Wahoo Kicker Headwind fan. And the way it works is it's controlled by Zwift. And so the faster you pedal, meaning the higher the speed, the fan blows harder. So it simulates the wind like you're outdoors. And you can have it be controlled either by your heart rate monitor or by the speed by which you're pedaling and going through Zwift. And it's very realistic. It really adds a cool effect. So you have high graphics and you also have high sensory feedback by having this fan that's blowing on you at the rate at which you're riding. added a few accessories that really make the Zwift experience good. One is a Logitech Bluetooth keyboard. I believe it was only $50, but in this case, I'm not tethered with a cord and I can control Zwift from this keyboard, which I just keep next to the bike. And second is I mounted in the ceiling of my basement, and I believe this bracket only costs $15 on Amazon to mount an iPad. That way to watch a movie, I can do it while Zwift is on the big display. I can watch a movie while I'm riding. I hope these suggestions make your Zwift experience better. While I realize they're all luxury, I also know that if you're going to spend a lot of time indoors, you want to make it better. And everything I've invested in my Zwift is actually less than a mid-price outdoor bike. So if you're going to ride a lot indoors, it's a pretty good value and not that much more expensive than a good outdoor bike.